right. Welcome to Geek the F Out. We're going to talk about Ahsoka. I'm Lucha Johnny. Almost said Captain.
I'm Kayla.
And
music is popping.
It is. It's called Stranger Danger.
Yes, strangers are dangerous.
Indeed.
All right.
But hey, we're not doing this alone.
Yeah, we're joined by some illustrious guests. The first one is Chris, aka Shiny Plastic People.
Hello! Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for joining us. All right. And then I'm just going to go in order by who is here. So the next one is Mega J Retro.
Hello. How are we? Good to see you guys.
Welcome. And of course, Ralph from Live Action Star Wars and a million other things.
Yeah. Keep going.
You have too many accolades and projects. It is insane. I don't know how you do it all.
I don't either. This is my 24th podcast in the last month.
Damn.
Including some of mine, including being guests on other ones. It's been. I think I don't have any next week other than Live Action Star Wars, and I'm kind of excited about that. A nice little break.
Yeah. Amazing.
Thanks
for joining.
Look at this cornucopia of cool cats we got here. Regular Jedi Council.
Right.
I like alliteration. I'm sorry.
You do.
I do. Alliteration is fun.
We're all here to talk about Star Farts, aka Star Wars, aka Ahsoka. If y'all didn't know by the title and everything.
Right.
But yeah, if you guys want to go through and talk about your, real quickly, your love of Star Wars, just like a brief 2-minute synopsis of your attachment to the franchise, if you watched Clone Wars or Rebels before this, anything like that. Chris, you can go first.
Sure. I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I'm at a weird age where Star Wars wasn't cool when I was little. It just existed on the USA Network. There weren't toys until the Power of the Force showed up. But I've tried to consume everything in the Disney canon before The Rise of Skywalker, and it was a terrible idea. But I'm pretty versed in my animated and live action moving people Star Wars books and stuff. I'm no good.
There's just so much out there. It's people that read all the books and consume everything Star Wars. I give them props because there is a lot out there.
We need we would need Ralph's live action Star Wars compatriot James for book knowledge, right? James is really into books and whatnot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do not read at all. The only books I've read were the Thrawn trilogy, and that's because that was the only Star Wars around when I was a teenager. I was born 3 months before Star Wars came out, and I don't know a time where I wasn't a Star Wars fan. I just brought this out. I got this on my 13th birthday. It's a
hologram trilogy. We love holographic.
And it's VHS tapes. That's how old I am. But these came out in 91.
VHS.
And these were the first time I had ever seen widescreen. Was this box set?
Interesting.
Nice and girthy.
It's been a while. Yeah. I've been a Star Wars fan for my whole life. You've probably seen this. I bring it out pretty much on any Star Wars live stream is the Hello Wicket play phone.
So cool.
And it's
so
just
jealous.
The colors. It's just the colors. If you could find it, go for it. But yeah, forever. I'm 46 years old. I'm the same age as Star Wars. Just a little bit older. So yeah,
no big deal.
It's been my whole life. And yeah, living between 83 and 97, the dark times was pretty tough. We got a couple Ewok movies. We got 3 books, and we got an X-Wing flight simulator game, which is probably one of the greatest games of all time. And then 97 the special editions came out, and it's been going strong ever since.
It has. What about you, Mega J?
I fucking hate Star Wars. I don't even know why I'm here. I mean,
there was a miscommunication. You thought this was going to be a Trek Retrek stream.
I thought I was going to be doing this all night, but no. I'm kidding. No, I was born. Because I don't want to brag either, but I was born 1 month before Star Wars got into the theaters. So Ralph and I have a lot in common.
This is a 46-year-old beard.
Yeah, pretty much. This is the way
the salt and pepper,
right? Yeah, and you can tell. We're old. We're the old Jedi masters. You know what I mean? We are at that stage now in our lives where we can start, telling young ones how they can become Jedi, and then not actually teaching them. We die before that actually happens. You can't actually. We never get an actual chance to train Jedi. I experienced Star Wars first on videotape, VHS. It was here we have Canadian Tire, and they actually rented videotapes, much like what Ralph just showed off. These little they look like little cassettes, which you put into these big boxes for all you younger people out there. Yeah, and bootlegging was a big thing in the 80s. I don't know if anybody knows that. So yeah, basically my first introduction to Star Wars was a copied videotape from my parents, from my uncles, and I experienced A New Hope for the first time. Ran that tape until it died, I think. So
Damn.
yeah, I know quite a bit about Star Wars. Much like Chris, though, there was no in-store action figures. They did exist. I had friends who had these mythical 3 3/4-inch figures, right? But I never actually had any of my own. It wasn't until Ralph's lying. We did have droids and we did have Ewoks, which was a huge cartoon in the 80s. So Ralph forgot.
They were not good.
They were awesome.
How dare you?
Lies.
I mean, the phone is based off.
That's what I said. I was about to say that's based off the cartoon, right?
I got this one too.
There we go. That's
which I actually got from John from Toy Store, Hero Source.
Yes.
Little piggy banks or Ewok banks were a big thing. Actually, anything Star Wars related was cool. And very, very much like everybody else, I watched the original trilogy, mostly, believe it or not, mostly in department stores, because they would always run them at weird times of the day. So I'd be shopping with.
That's a new one.
Yeah, I'd be shopping with my parents, and while they were shopping for furniture or whatever, they would leave me in front of the electronics section. And that day, around like whatever time it was, there was what's called Empire Strikes Back. I'm watching the Hoth fight and everything like that, and people are, and I'm like, I'm just glued to TV. Everybody else is doing their thing, And television was my babysitter. And then a month later, I'm back in the department store, and there's Return of the Jedi. So yeah, I watched much of my childhood was just enjoying the drama in space unfold, and then as everybody's familiar, there was the dark times.
The dark times.
After the nothing, it was the nothing. The nothing came and swept up all of the Star Wars from the world, and then all of a sudden the 90s came, and boom, it's back again. And and anybody who says that the Phantom Menace was a bad movie, you guys don't know what you're talking about. I love the Phantom Menace. I love the Phantom Menace. I thought it was a great film. Obviously it's not the best film in the world, but I really did love it. All the hype, the huge score by John Williams, the Duel of the Fates, all that kind of stuff. I was really into that stuff. I still have a Jar Jar Binks soda topper from the movie theater. I still got that thing.
Amazing.
Yeah, and again, it was a great time to be. Oh, but the best time about that era was some people will call this blasphemy, some people won't, but George Lucas's special edition of Star Wars was aired in theaters at the time, so I got to see it in theater for the very first time in my life, and that was just a huge epic experience. And amazing. Ever since then, it's just been a a wonderful experience. It's
Downhill
a
from there.
yeah, it's a bit of a hit and miss. I mean, we can talk that all day long. But Ahsoka,
Oh yeah. Ahsoka. Yeah, let's get into it. We'll start episode by episode, and then we can kind of do like a overall at the end. So the first episode is Master and Apprentice, and it was directed by the one and only Dave Filoni. Which right off the bat, my first note for this episode is, this bridge, is this Trek or is this Wars? Because we've been watching so much Trek, and it just reminded me so much of the dynamics between like the captain and everyone on the bridge in Star Trek. So it threw me off for a second. I'm like, no, this is like Admiral Akbar. So yeah, what is everyone's thoughts on the first episode?
I thought the same thing too at the beginning. Stevie, my wife, actually mentioned it while we were watching it. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan. During lockdown was the first time
Johnny,
I watched
cover your ears.
No, I watched the original series. I
it before.
finally made it through. I grew up a Star Wars kid. And that's all I watched. I too wore out my tapes. There's nothing else like it. So I grew up a Star Wars kid, and I tried so many times to get into Star Trek, couldn't get into it. During lockdown, finally made it through the entire original series. I sort of attribute that to the Orville, which is a show I absolutely love.
Orville is
and I
so
think,
good.
Yeah.
I think what the Orville did was gave me Star Trek themes where people talked like I talk and not so much in naval speak. So as soon as so that kind of helped me into Star Trek. But as soon as this episode started and I saw that bridge, it 100% like felt like Star Trek. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. And then Filoni brings in
It did
two Dark Force wielders to take them all out. I like that the captain was really arrogant and was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to call their bluff," and then they just get obliterated. I don't know. Like, I feel like the whole Star Trek versus Star Wars thing isn't as bad as it used to be. Growing up, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So I don't know if Dave Filoni's trying to reignite that sort of vision, or if it's a fun, playful thing. But it 100% felt like Star Trek. I don't think I've seen another ship laid out that way in Star Wars. Maybe there was the one where the Mon Cal and the Quarren or whatever were kissing.
Yeah.
Was that Book of Boba Fett?
I saw it.
Yeah.
That was Mandalorian.
It was a
sure.
It was a breakdown that Admiral Akbar, like, he had the same kind of like swivel captain's
but
chair.
he was kind of up forward in like a bubble. Like, this was literally like captain in the middle, surrounded by the crew.
It's definitely different looking, for sure.
I feel like it was behind Armand Colley, captain to start with, versus this was the head on from the bridge looking in instead of seeing the viewer in the background.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, what a fucking entrance by Balon and Chin. Yeah, Chin. Damn, that was pretty epic. I think that's gonna go down in history of epic hallway scenes.
It gave me serious flashbacks to the Vader hallway scene in Rogue One. Like, I think they were going for the same kind of vibe. But
There's
yeah,
a lot
Balin,
of hallway scenes.
Ray Stevens is a presence. Like,
a zaddy presence for sure.
Yeah, he's a very imposing gentleman. I mean, like, and of course, a loss to the acting community. Very shocking. Very, very shocking when I found out. I was like, didn't he just finish Star Wars? Like, what happened? Right. So huge shock to the community. And yeah, no, I really did enjoy the opening sequence. And it's interesting because it looks like that they're fallen Jedi for sure. Because we observe a lot, like, we've been observing a lot of these things. Their lightsabers aren't red; they're kind of orange. You know what I mean?
They're
It's like they're just about to turn, so they're kind of like one step into the dark side, one step out of the dark side. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to see where this is going.
And she has her Padawan braid too, so it's like they still are, training like Jedi. At least he's, training her.
And it's mentioned that the lightsaber that they're using is kind of in line with the ones the Padawans used back in the old Jedi Order. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where I think it's fascinating that Baylan is sort of left the Jedi Order probably during Order 66, but kind of went on a different path as Ahsoka when she left, and I like that. I like this. I like the sort of he's holding on to some of the ideals of the Jedi, even though I don't know, maybe he believed that the Jedi actually did the things that Palpatine said on at the start of the Empire. So I like this thing where he's kind of, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm not. I grew up Catholic. I was raised Catholic. 12 years of Catholic school.
Same.
Have nothing. Have since I didn't do my confirmation. So since I was 13 on, I sort of denounced that religion. But at the same time, like, I feel like if you read the Bible, there's a lot of good stories in it. There's a lot of good. There's some things that are not so good, but at the same time, I feel like Baylan's that kind of person. Like, he lost his faith in the Jedi Order, but is still taking some of the positive things and still injecting that into his Padawan. Of course, they're being like evil and slicing up people and stuff, but at the same time, he still has those sort of ideals. Hopefully, the better ones. But I think it's a really interesting sort of parallel with Baylan and Shin and Sabine and Ahsoka. It's kind of fun. I think and I like that he's sort of restrained. He's not really like mustache twirling. He's not really like intimidating. He's sort of calm and collected. He's kind of
what we call stoic.
Yeah, but he's like he's so sort of confident in the Force that he doesn't need to be flashy. He doesn't have to go crazy. He can just be sort of even keel and level, and he's gonna snap. I mean,
yeah. We haven't. I was just thinking about this. Like, we haven't seen any of that group use any sort of obvious dark side powers. Like, no force chokes, no lightning, nothing like that. It's your standard Jedi power set. They're using the pushes. They did. Baylan grabbed the captain's hand with the blaster, and of course.
I thought he force choked in the hallway.
If he did, I missed it.
I think he did. I'm pretty sure he did, because on a breakdown that I saw, it was comparing that to how Darth also.
I think it was less of a force choke and more just a grab and lift and then just dispatch. I don't think he was actually choking him on purpose. I think he was just grabbing him.
We love a good choking.
It was just a light choke,
Yeah, it's okay.
I think that I'm not sure if Baylan has actually turned. I don't think any of them are actually turned. And I don't think they actually have been. The rule of two says that they can't be Sith anyway. I mean, that's just the way that works, right? So
that's my big issue. Is
even the Inquisitors, they're not Sith. Do you know what I mean? Like they've been brought over to the dark side, and I don't know if they actually made their kyber crystal scream, but it seems as if again, these two Jedi, or whatever they decide they are now, their lightsabers are not yet red. They're cutting close to red, but they're not exactly red, right? So I think they're walking that fine line of what they believe is moral, right? Because I think that when Order 66 happened, right, I think that people had to survive, and I think Baylan is one of these people who, much like Kanan, I think that actually is what happened. I think Kanan Jarrus, he had to survive. He had to learn. He was just a youngling Padawan when he had to be separated from his master, right? Whereas I think this particular Jedi, he was already a full-fledged Jedi. You know what I mean? And he had to make certain decisions while he was out there, right? If we look at if we look at Obi-Wan and the way he had to survive, right? He was working at the docks. You know what I mean? He was cutting up meat of a space whale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to survive. You know
Hopefully it
what I
wasn't
mean?
a Purgle.
Right? Exactly. Well, it didn't. They didn't exactly show what
It
it was. I'm
wasn't.
pretty sure.
It was more spiky. I remember.
Yeah, well, no matter what, they were harvesting something, right?
Yeah.
For months, right? So whatever it is, it's huge, right? And
That's what they said.
and that changes a person, right? Living in the real world, because the Jedi for 1,000 years, right, were the keepers of peace in the galaxy, right? And they were the ultimate power, right? They were the peacekeepers. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're all knocked down from their pedestal, their ivory towers, and now they've had to learn how to live as refugees, right? As people who are on the run, and that changes you, right? You do what you have to survive, right? And that's actually Ben Solo figured that out. Sorry, not Ben Solo. Obi-Wan Kenobi figured that out. So Yoda was on he was on a swamp planet for the rest. He was in exile, right? And Balin, he probably had to wallow in the crap before finally deciding, what, I'm just going to use my powers, and I'm going to become a mercenary. I'm going to live the way I want to live, right? And here comes this. Maybe he met this girl. He realized she had force powers, took her under his wing, and they're gallivanting across the galaxy now. Who knows, right? So,
yeah, I'm very excited to learn more about them, and I hope they stick around for more than this season, at least, because I feel like they're very intriguing characters. Even just from the very little we've gotten from them, I feel like I want to know more. I want to know everything about
It's going to
them.
be hard now, though.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, we don't know the fate of Balin, unfortunately. Like I guess we'll find that out much later. But I don't know, Chris. What are your thoughts on the whole thing? Like, was there anything that stood out to you?
Chris,
did you hear us?
can you hear us?
I don't think he can.
Oh no.
He was having audio trouble when we were backstage before we went
Oh
live.
no.
Yeah, I can hear him touching the mic.
We can hear you.
But
I'm gonna.
Here we go.
Oh no.
He did that himself. So let's just keep going. I'll say one of the things that makes me chuckle every time I see it is people keep referring to Shin as Darth Bangs, and it's just hilarious to me.
Darth Bangs? Stop. Okay, between her and fucking Chapel, the short blonde hair right now is just.
Hey, everything old is new again. It's
Does Nurse Chapel in Strange New Worlds, does she have bangs?
Yes.
I saw one.
No,
episode.
she just has short blonde hair. She doesn't quite have bangs.
Kind of wavy too, like Shin's is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, I love that if I say
I should watch Strange New Worlds, but I can't stand musicals, and I know that everybody likes.
Dude, I can't stand musicals too, and
there's only one episode. Yeah, there's only one episode. It's not a Disney. It's not a Disney show. Don't worry about it.
No, it's good. It's good.
I lose audio for like a second, and I come back, and it's Star Trek. All of a sudden, what happened?
We literally, Mega J was like, Chris, what do you think about it? And it was just like silence.
Yeah, we were sitting here, we're like, okay, Chris is ignoring us all of a sudden.
Well, like I was seeing him talk, and I'm like, where'd the audio go? Is it me? Oh no, it is me.
Yeah, you're back now though. So what were your general thoughts about this first episode, Chris?
Well, since we're really focusing on the beginning, I thought it was interesting, of course, that Balin definitely remembers his Jedi training enough that he still knows his access codes to get in on the ship. And, you got to tie it to the aesthetic of the time of the movies that we saw the rebellion in. So long live 70s fashion, of course. I had to get a giggle out of that. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see, it, as Mega J was talking about, they haven't made their lightsabers bleed at least all the way. So, what does that mean? Did we put some hate into that? And of course, Brick is talking about a musical episode.
Jizz music. He just wants me to say that. That's it.
Well, we did get some not jizz in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some Star Wars punk.
I like to think of it as intergalactic riot girl.
It was badass. That was such a good intro for her character. Let's quickly, because Ahsoka is next, and then we got to Sabine, right? That's the order. Yes, it is after that. So what do we think of Ahsoka's introduction? Because I thought that scene was badass, and also I was waiting for her to finally speak, and the first thing she says is "Hu Yang." And I was just like, oh, okay, not that epic, but
I got serious.
Kind of works well.
I got serious Jedi Fallen Order vibes from that sequence, solve the Zepho temple puzzles, and then also like everybody has said, it's Ahsoka playing Indiana Jones. It was very interesting. I want to know what the thing was made of that the map was in, because it looked like chocolate pie crust.
Oreo cookies. It was made of Oreo cookies.
It does look like Oreo.
That's exactly what I
crust.
thought it was.
Crumble
or just
cookies.
Dark brown dirt that's been compacted, or even
like dessert dirt, not
know.
like actual dirt.
Yeah.
Like
dessert dirt.
when she was crumbling it, I was like, God, I want some Oreos right now. I was
felt
may
so
or may not have
satisfying.
influenced me getting an Oreo milkshake today. Just saying. Yeah. No, that was. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I thought the temple was interesting because we see the three. I thought it was maybe a mirror, a Night Sister mirror of the father, the son, and the daughter. When I was talking to Brick, he brought up as maybe a Wiccan reference to the crone, the mother, and the maiden.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting, in religion, we keep getting these series of three, even in Catholicism and just Christianity with the Holy Trinity. So three keeps coming up here, which is interesting.
No, I agree. And the thing is that because we didn't realize that, well, we're doing nothing but spoilers today anyway. Because we didn't realize that Morgan was a Dathomir witch. I know, right? Exactly.
I feel like it should be obvious, but just in case.
Yeah.
You should put the sound if you're going to do that, you go.
I should get
the
sound effect.
Yeah. Star Wars doesn't have
Johnny,
red
get
alert,
on
a
that.
red alert sound effect. Star Wars doesn't do that kind of crap.
It does have a sound effect. I did
on
use it
the-
on my channel. I'm in the,
Well, they have
the
the
wrong
alert
camera.
on the
like
on the
Rogue One
Imperial
and the
ship.
Death Star.
Oh no, yeah, I know. It's that wee. Yeah, I remember that sound. Yeah, but they barely use it. They barely ever use it. It's this high pitched whatever wail. But the
Whale.
what's it called? Well, we're talking about whales today anyway. The Star Trek,
Yep.
red alert is just so iconic. Everybody knows what the hell it is when you hear it. So got to get on that, Luca. You got to get on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I actually didn't. I didn't initially realize what culture it was. I sort of thought that they were in the room where Ezra was in. About a physical manifestation of that room where he pulled out Ahsoka from Rebels. I thought it was because you could see star maps everywhere, right? So it sort of looked like a physical version of that. And when she was doing the puzzles, everyone was thinking, "Oh, Indiana Jones." I was waiting for her to grab, some of the sand, put it in.
Wait
put
for
it
that meme.
I was waiting for something like that, right? But never happened. But then when we found out about Dathomir and the whole connection, then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what's going on here now, right? So yeah, no, Chris, I'm on board with you 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not watched Rebels or Clone Wars, but I know a lot about the Night Sisters and Dathomir from Jedi Fallen Order. Well, I kind of did it on purpose because everybody was like, Rebels rewatch before it starts. And I'm like, No, so that I can go in it
Yeah.
because
We're
everybody
the
has that
opposite. I
perspective.
watched it, you didn't.
Yeah, I wanted to come at it and give the perspective of someone who is not familiar with. Now, I've watched recaps and I've read Wikipedia articles about Wikipedia articles about everything in the past, but I haven't actually watched it. But I wanted to be able to provide that perspective of someone watching this who has not watched Rebels before. I'm not lost. Nothing's
Sure,
confusing me.
that's
I think the only things that
your
stump me
reasoning.
are the things that are actually stumping other people too. Like, I guess there's a gap between Rebels and this where apparently Sabine became Ahsoka's Padawan, and that was not something that was shown
Yep.
in the show. So that's the only thing where I'm like, well, how the hell, what happened there?
I know.
But nobody knows.
I would like
'cause
to.
it's-
I would like
yeah,
to fill that gap.
There's a the Ahsoka storyline does not.
Chris, you're on our
intersect-
show. What do you expect?
I know. I should know.
I'm really
The,
sad though. Real sorry, Ralph. I forgot to do That's What They Said for these, and
dare
I'm
you.
gonna have to do it for the next episodes and subject everyone to saying them, and it's gonna be great. And then we'll have we'll do a big one on the very last episode because we'll have a lot of people on that and just have everyone say them for the entire season. It's gonna be great. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Ralph.
But that was one of the things was the Ahsoka is never sort of mentioned in the original trilogy era, and also episode 3. And it's one of those things when you were watching the Clone Wars, you're like, well, she must die. She must die in the Clone Wars. And then you find out she left the Order before the events of episode 3. So that kind of makes sense. But yeah, there's a big old gap in Sabine and Ahsoka's story that happened during the original trilogy. What was going on in Lothal then? All of this stuff. So I don't know if we need to do that story, but I think we're getting glimpses because clearly they started working together at some point. Because in episode 3, there is a history there. There is the fact that Ahsoka changed Sabine's presets on the gunner ship or on the gunner station. So you're like, it's kind of nice that you don't have to get into every single story, but I like these glimpses here and there. So I like
some. Go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
I mean, I'd like to. I kind of want to know where Ahsoka was during the original trilogy, but at the same time, like, there's a lot of over-explaining when it comes to prequels and stuff, and so I'm a big fan of moving forward in the storyline, which this is moving the Rebel storyline into unknown territory, which is between episode 6 and 7, which is really great. And I love that the Senate is not taking it serious that the Empire, is still a threat. Because we know
Ralph is jumping ahead so far; it's hilarious. It's episode 1, episode 1, Ralph.
Yeah,
episode 1.
We got 3 episodes to talk
Stay on
about.
target.
It's hard not to sometimes.
Yeah.
Stay on target.
It's okay. It's
Stay on
okay.
yeah, but
We're known for tangents.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
but as far as like Ahsoka goes, it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't know. Whatever you say she's doing during the original trilogy isn't going to be, I don't know.
It's one of those things where it can be more compelling not to have all the details so that you can fill it in yourself with your imagination rather than having them put it out and then potentially being disappointed by what they show you versus what you had as far as expectations go. I think we kind of saw that with some people and episode 3, because I remember for years before episode 3 came out that people were talking about, oh yeah, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fought. He was his apprentice. They fought on a volcano planet and Obi-Wan cut all his limbs off. Well, how the hell did that happen? We want to see that. And then they showed us, and some people loved it, and some people were like, this is awful.
You truly cannot satisfy any Star Wars fans because if you give them like a copy and paste of the original trilogy, which is what they want, they're gonna get mad at it. If you do something different, they're gonna get mad at it. You're fucked if you do, you're fucked if you don't.
I like it all.
Just enjoy
Yeah.
it. Just enjoy it.
You know what? You're absolutely right, Kayla. I mean, like, here comes the Force Awakens. It's it's a derivative of multiple episodes, multiple Star Wars films, and at first, this is the funny thing about Star Wars fans. At first, everybody watched it so much so that it made more money in the run that it had in the theaters than any other film around that time, and then as they keep watching it, because Star Wars fans, they keep watching a 3, 4, 5. I mean, I ran my tape until it stopped working, right? But as they're watching, they start realizing this is just a copy of the original Star Wars. We hate this thing, and all of a sudden they turn sour on it. And
but the thing is that episode 1 made so much money because it was that anticipation. We had had Star Wars for so long,
that's
and it was different, and that was apparently a problem too.
Yeah, but there's the problem, right? And then what happens is they pretty much say, "Oh no, we don't want Abrams as a director anymore. Get him the f out of here." And then they bring in somebody else who completely turns everything on its head, and they're like, "Well, we don't like this either." It's like, guys, shut up! You should have just let him do what he was going to do, because now the story's been completely changed around, right? Instead of finding out exactly what Abrams actually had in mind, which now then you get to the final episode, which is the Rise of Skywalker, and that moved so quick because he had to tie up loose ends. He had to put the introduction of how, like, where the hell did Palpatine come from, right? It's all this crap, and
somehow Palpatine returned.
I know I returned. Whatever.
Oh, you were in Fortnite?
No.
So hey, let's get back to Ahsoka. She deserves our full attention and focus.
Yes, she does.
On that comment right there, the score to Ghostbusters Afterlife is an abomination. The music
Ralph.
is a complete ripoff of Elmer Bernstein, and it was distracting, and I did not like it.
Okay.
I like the movie. The movie is great.
Yes, I love the movie.
The movie's great. I like Ghostbusters.
Anyways, Ahsoka. So how do we feel about this being the copy and paste version of Treasure Planet?
I've never seen Treasure Planet, so I'm fine with it.
What?
I've seen it once.
Sorry for all your earbuds. What?
You blew out your mic there.
It's Treasure Island in space.
No, Treasure Planet, because the orb. It literally is that same orb.
This is a Disney animated movie, right? The guy with the glasses?
That one's not the glasses. That's Atlantis.
Oh.
Okay, go watch Treasure Planet, people. It is good. It is an underrated movie. The orb is literally the same thing as this damn map. I have a meme about it that we'll show later on, but it's literally the same thing. Like, it has the same markings. He has to twist it, and a whole map comes out of it. Whole galaxy comes out of it. And I was like, did they just copy this from Treasure Planet? Just
does
saying.
that kind of thing happen before Treasure Planet? Did Treasure Planet take it from something else?
Nothing is new.
Know. Yeah, nothing is new for sure. But it's funny because like the orb and the map look exactly the fucking same, and they do the same thing, and you twist them in the same ways to unlock them. So just saying. And they both lead you, like, they're both like to find something. So
I do kind of have to wonder, like, when Sabine unlocked this map, it's like, did nobody try that? Like, it didn't look like it was terribly difficult to match up the lines on the three sides.
Right. I think Ahsoka knew how to do it, but she needed to reconnect with Sabine somehow, and was like, "Here, I can't figure out how you do it."
That is an interesting speculation.
I don't think so. I don't think it's as simple as that. I think that it's a MacGuffin at the end of the day. It's a freaking MacGuffin, right? It's an item which and the thing is they freaking pretty much threw it away after the second episode. I mean, where the hell is it now? You know what I mean? It's almost irrelevant now, right? Because it did what it's supposed to do, and now they're moving on, right? But the puzzle part of it, I mean, whatever, man. Like, you're an artist, you have the artist's eye. Like, oh god, just again, I mean, Ralph, you're not wrong. It was the way to reconnect those two characters. That is, absolutely true. But in terms of like her problem solving skills, we know that she's a phenom. We know that she's a prodigy, right? She created weapons which literally killed her own people. Again, spoilers if anybody hasn't actually watched. Oh God, I'm really bad at this. Where's that red alert thing? That you gotta flash that up. There we go.
There we go.
That's what it was. Right there, we gotta start doing that again.
It's just perpetual spoilers the whole way through.
If you're watching this, we're just like many of us are just assuming that you've actually watched Rebels,
Yeah.
and if you haven't, screw you guys. I'm just kidding.
Eat it, Johnny.
The puzzle solving and whatever. I mean, weak storytelling is not new in Star Wars. We've seen this, okay? Like they just need to move the story.
You need to
I wouldn't
focus
even
on
call
it. That's not even the point. Like they're gonna unlock it. Does it matter how they unlock it, if it's easy or not? And technically they could have just, pared it down to just those few strokes. LOL. It could have been more complicated than that, just close.
Well, and
it was a Rubik's Cube. Exactly.
And to build on what Jay's saying, in Rebels specifically, when they're looking at the art that leads to the gateway to the world between worlds, Sabine is brought in by the Sith historian to specifically discuss art and its impact on the gateway. So Sabine's essentially playing the same role here, looking at the star maps, trying to decipher the art and its meanings in the temple and how it relates to the star map, aka the Rubik's Cube from space.
Yeah.
I think
who knows.
I think Chris is exactly right. They just wanted to bring that reconnection with the fans, and it's just these Easter eggs. It's just these little Easter eggs that they're throwing at us. And some of us are like, huh, and other of us are like, oh, and of course, Luca, having never watched the series, like, what the fuck, right? That's basically what
he said. He was getting it, right, Johnny?
Yeah, it was giving me more flashbacks to Fallen Order and some of the puzzles in the temple in that game. It felt very similar, but there's been some speculation online that like there are threads as well as the threads from, because the Night Sisters of Dathomir are in Fallen Order quite a bit, so there's some interconnecting threads through not just Rebels but also seems through Fallen Order maybe a little bit into this.
Yeah, and with the reveal that Morgan is a Night Sister, I can't remember if this was in the aired version of me talking to Brick or one of our many failed attempts. The name Morgan Elsbeth is killing me, and I hope it's an alias because she would have been a contemporary to Asajj Ventress and Mother Towson. So yeah, Mother Towson, Asajj Ventress, and Morgan.
Yeah, I wonder, because she was in the Mandalorian episode with Ahsoka,
and the Night Sister in there's a couple of Night Sisters in Fallen Order, but the main one that we see is named Marin.
So maybe they do have more common names than we think. Who knows? But yes, and then we get the introduction of Sabine. I mean, we don't have to like specifically talk about scenes, but I thought that scene in particular was pretty badass. She just completely blows off the not ceremony, it's celebration.
Yeah,
I guess
it's a ceremony. It's basically it's a commemorative moment where they commemorate the mural which she painted, and heck, she fucking painted it. Where the hell isn't she there, right? Like I think that was the whole point of the ceremony, right? And the governor of Lothal, who was in the series, played by the exact same voice actor. Like that was cool. That was just really, really cool. I think
also Mr. Krabs.
Yes, Mr. Krabs.
Clancy Brown is great,
and he was, of course, he was Kruger in Highlander. So lots of great actors. And
he was Parallax in the Green Lantern movie.
Was he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Huh.
That was regrettable. But anyway,
I mean, he didn't have
Also,
to show up.
he haunts my dreams from Carnival. So
mm,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But he played the same character on Rebels.
Ryder Azadi.
Mhm.
There you go. And it was great to see him. I think with Sabine though, I think one of the best things with her intro is we see that classic highway on Lothal
Yeah.
that we caught in Rebels that they would use for like any action sequence. They're like, okay, we have this sort of set area for chases, and we're going to always do a chase on this thing. So it was kind of nice to see that in live action. It really put me into the mind frame of Rebels. And Johnny, I mean, I'm not going to pressure you to watch Rebels, but it might be the best Star
Maybe
Wars
we'll do a
during the
series on
Disney era.
that.
Hold on, Kayla. Our list is getting real long. I will
know.
probably watch Rebels after
We can just
after
watch
we
it.
finish this.
Like do like 4 episodes, like 1 per season. We're good.
We'll talk about it. So from the perspective of not having seen it, I'm like, where does this highway go and why is it so empty? There was not a single
We don't know.
vehicle except
We don't
hers
know.
on there.
Lothal is
No.
Lothal is apparently in this timeline, like in this time, Lothal's a thriving city now. But if you watch the series at the time, they were occupied by the Empire, and it was literally a dead end town. Like nothing was happening there. All of the industry had left the planet. The few people who were there were just existing. Right, they were just trying to like get on with their lives, doing whatever meager things they could do, and the highway was never even finished. If you actually watch when they finish, when the highway ends, it literally is just this barren area where it like empties out into, and then right at the edge of that, a few more, however hectares, whatever it is, you get to this communications tower. And then you know where that is now. So that's it. That literally is it. So
I know where it goes. The danger zone.
yes, danger zone.
Highway to the danger zone. Okay.
But you see, you can literally see Maverick just driving exactly like Sabine, right? And that was an actual.
That is
homage.
a Maverick move.
My wife thought it was straight Top Gun. She was just like, "You gotta say it's Top Gun. You gotta say it."
I'm sorry, Top Gun is not straight. It is queer as fuck. Let's be honest. The shirtless volleyball.
Kayla's having a party all by herself. She's like, she's got these lights going on in the background, and it's freaking.
Oh
awesome.
no, I think my screen is flashing. I just private messaged y'all.
No, I just
been
pointed.
flashing?
I'm waiting for
pointed
this
that out.
light to die.
I pointed that out because it looks so much fun. It's like you're having a rave in your.
I'm gonna leave and come back. Y'all just
No,
keep
just
doing
stay
your
where you
thing.
are. It's cool.
No, it keeps
This light has been
flashing.
blinking. This light has been blinking.
Wait,
on and
you mean
off
No,
your
it's
for
my
the last
whole
month.
my whole screen is
Oh, your
blinking.
actual
There's not a
screen.
light blinking.
Oh, it's your actual
Yeah.
screen. I thought it was your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
your
thought so
camera was
too. I thought it was
blinking.
like your feed because your
Oh.
whole image flickered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I'm
what
gonna
I
leave and come
thought.
back. I don't know what happened.
Kayla's
I'll be
leaving.
right back.
It's gonna be a
We'll miss
sausage.
you.
It's a sausage party.
I'll be gone for a seat. It just did it again. I'll be
Oh.
gone. Yeah. Enjoy
All right,
your sausage
all right,
fest for 2
sausages.
seconds.
Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about Top Gun.
I can do my
So,
Doth logs.
Goose was totally killed by Iceman. I think we can agree on
Oh.
that.
Spoiler flashes. But I mean, Sabine. By the time we got through Rebels, Sabine became pretty much my favorite character, and I think because I'm not familiar with the actress in this series, I don't know her from anything else. She's perfect. She's like Sabine for me. Unlike Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I know from all kinds of stuff, it's harder for me to get used to her as Hera. But with Sabine is probably my favorite character in this series so far.
I love the Lothcat on her helmet because it is straight her style of art. Out of Rebels, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I
love-
am
I love the
familiar with
Lothcat.
Sabine. Sorry, Jay.
No, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I have her Black Series figure because she's a Mandalorian, so I have it. That's all. Go ahead.
Good job.
I love the Loth. I love the Lothal cat.
Yes, the Loth cat.
They're so cool. They're so
Which
cool.
also they kind of look like corgis. Adam, if you're still watching, he made me aware that these exist, and I have to show it every time.
Is that? Oh my god! Is that Einstein? That's not Einstein, is it?
No, it's not Ein.
No, it's not Ein.
It's just a corgi.
It looks like Ein. It looks like Ein.
I've got a couple incognitos, so I see that all the time.
Love. Anyways, yes, love Sabine. I'm waiting for when the Sabine figure gets dropped with the others, with the Chopper too. They had the Black series, like Chopper and the other ones drop, which I got the what's her face?
Does Chopper come with a love cat?
No. Did you call it a love cat?
Chopper comes with Chopper comes with a fart effect.
Oh.
He comes with a huge, gigantic fart effect. It blows out of his
funny.
His rear end.
I'm not sure that's much different than the first release.
It's the
I think
exact
it might
same.
come with an extra strut.
No,
Yeah.
it's the exact same thing. It's a repack. It's literally a repack of the first release. There's nothing different about it.
The talking one.
I'm glad for that though, because I missed out on the first Black Series release of Chopper. So and the prices just went stupid. He was like going for $120 at one point. I was like, you guys are freaking insane. You guys are insane. So I'm so glad they're re-releasing him as a general release. And this is the first open general release. He was always a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, or some sort of Target exclusive or something like that. So,
yeah, I can't remember. I ordered it as soon as it was available for pre-order, so I never thought anything of it.
Yeah. Anyhow, back to the show. As much as we all love toys here, and I would love to talk more of them. Okay. Is there anything else on episode 1? We can get into episode 2.
The lightsaber fight.
Oh, yes. And it's the first one between two women in Star Wars ever, apparently. I saw something about that. I was like, I'm sorry, what?
That's true in live action, not animated.
Live action, yeah. Definitely not animated.
I was gonna say, and I think that it's happened in video games too. I mean, like there are multiple times where
live action only, which is fine because that's all that fucking matters, anyways. Because God forbid, don't have that.
we got it now. I mean, like
yes,
2023.
Quick Easter egg that should be mentioned at the ceremony for the 10-year anniversary of the liberation of Lothal. The senator is Jai Kell, who is an Imperial classmate of Ezra Bridgers when he went undercover. So love it.
Is that? Yeah, that's true. Oh gosh, I didn't even realize that. That's awesome. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, but they're not fighting. But I was not.
They're fighting with their tongues.
They are fighting with their tongues.
Fighting.
Yeah, that was a cool Easter egg. I saw somewhere online that he was going to be in it, but I was like, oh, he's in this first episode. Cool. Awesome.
Also, I have a beef with him telling Sabine that he's like a sister to her. You've watched Rebels. That was not a sister thing he was going for.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
Well, here's the thing. When they first met, he was all trying to get impressing her and stuff. But by the time living with her for 2-3 seasons, they started just getting close. You know what I mean? As like family, because at the end of the day, they were all more like family, right? I think that it ended up being like more he was feeling for her as a sister at that point, right? Because the problem with the Jedi is they lose all their attachments, right? So
Brick, you have a good point.
Yeah, but
you're
Jay,
not wrong.
You got to look at Ezra's master, not exactly the master of not having attachments.
Yeah, but again, he was a master. He was a self-taught Jedi, right? I mean, when you think about it. So, and as we mentioned earlier, before your audio cut out, the way that Jedi have had to live in this new world is they've been on the run. They've had to do things that they're not used to.
Absolutely.
Things have changed. So,
I did thankfully catch that. It was just. But yeah, and of course, unfortunately, Sabine got Qui-Goned.
She got better.
Yeah.
but not quite. Which the memes for that were absolutely insane. Everyone was like, "Oh, so like he dies and she can be healed. This isn't fair."
Now, I will say, I felt like it was a little to the side.
Yes,
and
me too.
also she
It was to the
had
side.
immediate medical attention.
Exactly.
did.
Someone was on scene. They weren't the bowels of the bottom of the god. How far does that place go? Like, does this palace actually need a thermal nuclear reactor? Like, what the heck are they powering under there? Like, it's like when I was like, where are they? Are they on a ship? Are they on a space station? Like, I didn't understand where they were in episode 1 because it was like huge, that whole place where they were fighting. But in terms of like whether or not she would have survived, it was to the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who cares if her entire insides were inflamed? You know what I mean? They got, this is future technology, right? They got droids working on you. It's okay. And she has
also, go ahead.
my last joke was going to be she's got a robotic spleen. You know, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, just look at Fennec Shand.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Like her entire midsection is
true.
gone. She's fine.
it's just too bad
She's
Sabine
rocking and
didn't
rolling.
have a suit of lightsaber-proof armor or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But wait a second. If we're gonna talk about Fennec Shand, what about freaking Darth Maul? He literally was chopped in half. He put together what was it, a snake's body from, or was it a spider's body, whatever the heck it was. He put it together using scraps from the junkyard. I mean, come on. Obviously a lightsaber, you can survive a lightsaber attack. Come on, let's
Yeah.
Well, it's easy if you're
species
cut
you are too.
hamburger, but if it's hot
Mhm.
dog, you're in trouble.
Yeah, hot dog, you're
Yeah.
screwed. Hamburger is good, hot dog bad. If
Pizza
anyone
when you
takes
should have
anything
French
away
fried.
from this stream,
No, but I'm with Ralph.
What you should take
I'm
away.
with Ralph. Certain, like, not every species that, because again, everybody here is an alien, right? They're not human beings. So for all you know, her heart is in her head or something. I don't know. There's so many different ways of doing that, right? So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Ralph. I'm with you.
So then episode 2,
mm-hmm.
what are our thoughts?
Stonehenge.
So immediately, Hugh Yang is giving Ahsoka the biz about, you kind of suck at this.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
he doesn't give a fuck. Him and Chopper, I just love the droids.
They're
just
fucking droids. They're not supposed to empathize with you. The fact that they do is like a bonus.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's
Like-
impressive that Hu Yang, sorry Kayla, Hu Yang says
Okay.
that he's, because they say he's like 2,500 years old, like he's an old ass droid, and he says he's still
Mhm.
75% original parts. That's workmanship. Like they knew what they were doing.
It must be a
Right.
Mac product.
I'm
Was he
pretty
put together?
sure.
Was he put together with the Force?
That would be
Well,
interesting.
He's High
Hmm.
Republic material, so it's possible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
don't
sure.
know.
I'm pretty sure a Padawan or two sliced off a limb by accident. I'm pretty sure it's happened. You know what I mean?
Well, we've
Yeah.
seen him in pieces in Clone Wars, but that doesn't mean they didn't cobble him back together
Oh,
with
yeah.
those parts.
That's true. Real quick before we get too into this episode is called Toil and Trouble, which I was like, wishy vibes. I love that. And it is directed by Steph Green. So yay, a lady directing a woman-led TV show. I know this is Dave Filoni's baby, but I was just like, it's mainly women driven, so maybe we should have some more women directors. Just saying. So that's awesome.
I think
that
Steph
she directed
Steph Green directed, I believe, the second episode of Book of Boba Fett. The
this.
one with
Yeah,
the
I
snake
think
people.
there was
And
a
that's like
couple other
probably
ones
the best episode of Book of Boba Fett. Like I really like
besides
that
the
episode.
Mando stuff.
I mean, Bryce
Let's
Dallas
just-
Howard did those, so I mean,
Yeah.
there's something that should be noticed.
Are we
Mhm.
are we talking about Mandalorian season 2.5? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what we were watching at that point. I was literally like, I was confused. Around the third episode, I was like, the hell just happened here?
Yeah, and she directed episode 3 too.
But Brick,
Yeah.
they don't have an action figure. Dave does.
Oh my god.
Chris, I'm with you. I had to get that. I was like, Dave Filoni has brought everything. But I'm like, between him and Favreau,
Yeah, Jon Favreau.
I've got to get these guys. This is
Who
this
did
is
and
an absolutely must have.
who showrunned Andor?
That's a good
You know that?
question.
I love Andor. Like
Andor's been my fave.
I can't believe it's
That's
got
Tony Gilroy. That has
poor,
nothing to do
poor
with
Okay.
ratings.
Filoni.
I can't believe it.
Okay.
I can't believe it.
That's
I'm,
probably why.
I'm so glad they have a second season. I really want to
Oh,
find
yeah.
out. I
I'm
really want
excited.
more Andor. Like seriously, what a
Yes.
total espionage. I love it. It was so great.
Yes. Okay, Ahsoka, episode 2, Toil and Trouble. Thoughts? Eye of Sauron.
There was a little bit of a vibe with that, wasn't there? It was kind of
I mean, it's literally called the Eye of Sion. Like,
yeah.
did
Oh, yeah,
they
there's that too.
were they really just gonna breeze over that and not?
So we've seen hyperspace rings in Disney canon before. You know, oftentimes the little Jedi fighters would dock with a small one.
Yeah, like
Go
the
up. This
proto
is-
A-wings.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
they've used them all the time. But you know, this is just a gigantic one. God knows what they're going to transport in it. It's freaking huge.
and it's gold and ostentatious as shit.
And I'm pretty sure
Wow.
that George Lucas has gone on record as saying he likes Tolkien, and I'm sure
I
this
mean, everyone steals from Tolkien.
is right. So I'm assuming that's like Dave Filoni's nod to Tolkien.
And I've seen a lot of stuff online on how Dave Filoni really likes Gandalf, so he likes to make a lot of his characters like he made Kanan kind of like him, and even Balin. Is it Balin or Balon?
Balin. I believe.
Balin.
Balin. Okay. Kind of like him, and there was some other comparison I saw, so I'm like, all right.
Well, in the Rebels finale, spoilers, Ahsoka does show up wearing white.
Johnny. Yes.
Yeah, Ahsoka the White.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she goes
This is
gray,
true.
and then she goes back to gray. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
The name of
Um,
that planet too, Cetos, like for whatever reason, just gives me huge Game of Thrones vibes. Like it feels like a name
Yes.
of something out of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. A wee bit. A wee bit.
Right.
There's
Um,
many Games of Thrones.
It's a shame. If only it was available somewhere on the internet and you could watch it.
What is it? I thought that I haven't had time.
No, it's
It
fine.
means to.
So Ralph,
It's my
here's,
interest in
here's something. Just not to go too off topic on this, really quick.
Tangent
I know,
time.
pretty much.
We need to have a
I-
graphic that says tangent time.
I totally refused to watch Game of Thrones when basically I'd already missed the first and second season, and everyone was like, "You gotta watch it, you gotta watch it." Every time somebody says you gotta watch it, I'm like, "Fuck you! I'm not watching it now." Like, see, I just did it to spite. I literally did it to spite people at that point. I was like, "Screw you guys! I'm not watching it."
Mhm.
And then basically when everybody stopped watching it, that's when I watched it because I was like, you know what? Actually, no.
I did that.
What ended was really quickly. What ended up happening was I ended up watching House of Dragons first. That's actually what I watched, and then I said, okay, this is actually kind of cool. So then
is
I
that a
ended up
prequel? Was it a prequel? So does it work out?
House of Dragons is the prequel. Yeah, it's actually what
Okay.
like 500 years before what's her face Daenerys, and yeah, then I'm like, all right, screw it, I'll watch the whole. And I ended up binging it for like 2 months, and I was like, cool. And
I'm
that was
so sorry that ending. Which I'm very curious how it would go for people because I didn't watch until the 3rd season and I got super into it after that and read all the books and like right before the final season I rewatched, reread, and then like watched all of these like theories and these like spoilers and these leaks, and it was nothing compared to what some people had theorized would happen that was way better. But anyways, back to Ahsoka. I wanted to
Ahsoka.
highlight this comment. The Eye of Sion does look like it could transport something big across multiple galaxies like the Chimera. Also looks like, something else that you put over something big. And that is all I will say. Moving on.
Anytime you do an innuendo, I just think, oh, she probably means penis.
We were talking about
Penis.
we were
You
talking
wouldn't be
about
far off.
we were talking about cats before you showed up, and we're not going to
Yeah.
go back there. We're not going to go back there. That was just too painful.
Yeah.
It was so painful. I enjoyed the episode. It was just one of these. It was full. There was a lot of actually dark humor in it. You know what I mean? Like Sabine's tinkering around with a head that can kill everybody in that room, plus probably the entire floor or the entire hospital actually could get blown up, right? And she's like, wait, I got time, and then boom, it's like, oh, okay, well, we didn't die, so here's the information. It's like, oh, you mean there's a possible Imperial connection in a shipyard that was owned by Morgan? Let's head over there and find out, and then we find out, oh, you know what? Guess what? There are loyalists. There are Imperial loyalists that still exist around the galaxy. Well, duh. I mean,
yeah.
So,
which that scene in that room where all the red coats started firing at them, I was just like, wow, that we didn't see that coming.
Well, and some
Very
of them were
obvious.
just doing it for the buck, right out of The Last Jedi with Don't Join DJ. The same people building the X-Wing is building the TIE fighters.
Mm-hmm. Or they use, prisons like in Andor.
Well, it's cheaper.
But I appreciate the build up in Andor. It was like it was like worth the payoff, because you saw everything that was happening. The fact that the Imperials are treated like secondhand citizens. You know what I mean? The fact that they're segregated from everybody else. You know what I mean? Spoilers, if anybody hasn't watched Andor, because I'm really good at this. This is really there we go. That's what I was waiting for. Jesus. You guys shouldn't invite me back. This is bad. This is like really, really
It's
bad.
fine.
The whole
We're already
point of this is
talking about it.
spoilers, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I was not expecting Dr. Taub to show up. Old Peter Jacobson, also Wally Jabrowski from The Lost Room. No? Nobody? Anybody?
Sorry, from House?
Yeah.
From House? Yes, I know.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God. I was freaking out. And he was very similar to his character in House. I feel like that's how he acts in a lot
That's
of things.
just him.
Though.
Yeah,
that's just
you
him.
cast him because you want him as that character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just
Totally.
Yeah, I didn't
ahead,
see it. That's so far over my head. I need a ladder.
Good one.
I've seen this many houses.
Yes. House. Loved House.
Okay.
It
gave me like. Go ahead.
That's the only dragon I like. That's the dragon I
the lightsaber scene
Ghidorah.
between Ahsoka being what is his name?
Marok.
Marok?
I think it's Maruk.
But it's
Merrick. Wait, we're just going to argue about it, and none of us will be right. Well,
yeah, none of us.
Johnny's probably right, but
Johnny, how is it?
I've heard it as Merrick, like
Merrick.
the
It's
O is not a
M-A-R-R-O-K.
hard O.
Okay.
It's a soft O.
Soft. It's a flaccid O. Okay.
The dude who looks like Sauron in the beginning of the of Lord of the Rings trilogy. There's another nod to Lord of the Rings. Anyway.
Yeah, he had
Everything
a very
goes back to rings.
medieval fantasy vibe, and also was it Ralph? Was it you and James who were talking? Like he kind of looks like Rinsler from Tron.
Yeah,
he does give me that vibe too. Just
it
not
reminds
lit
me
up.
of Rinsler. Yeah, it reminds me of it, the way he's doing the flips and stuff, and then the obscured voice in the mask really makes me think that we are going to get some sort of reveal of who that character is.
So
I'm guessing yes, but I've also seen a lot of people being like, he could just be Merrick. Like
there could just
be no one.
He could be an Inquisitor, just an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Ezra.
You just said it. So, but
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is this: in order for that to happen, like, first of all, if he was an Inquisitor, that means that he's been here, he's been back for 10 years. You know what I mean? He's been he just showed up and said, I want to be an Inquisitor today. You know, like it just doesn't seem he's not he
I
wasn't
mean,
even
he was
technically
training to be a fucking trooper.
Yeah, but again, he just like portals back onto Cthulhu. He just hops on the Cthulhu.
I don't think
and
it's
just goes-
Ezra.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think it's Ezra.
I don't. It might be somebody very significant, right? But I don't think it's Ezra.
Yeah. I think it's definitely not Ezra. It's someone else, or it's no one.
I
You
kind
know,
of
just an
hope they
Inquisitor.
throw us
Why
for
is
a
there a
loop.
third? Why is there a third?
That is a good question, but I think it ties into the threes of everything else, like the three statues that were in the temple with the star map. I don't know.
there's a lot
I don't
of
have a
wolf
good answer,
references.
but I do like the character design, and I do kind of hope that it's just not anybody who anybody knows, because
Mhm.
I mean, Balin and Shin are not anybody that anybody knows, and they're awesome so far. So
Yeah. Love them.
Merrick can just be Merrick and not be anybody.
well, you know,
The-
and people love to think it's Starkiller.
Yeah,
Just a way to bring Starkiller into canon.
because Sam Witwer's credited as additional voices in the
Yeah.
credits, and the credits for Merrick are just the
The-
suit actor, the
Right.
stuntman who's in the suit. So they could be trying to throw people for a loop. I don't know. I feel like
who knows?
Starkiller is pretty obscure.
We all
for-
know who it is. It's Mark Hamill. Mark
Yeah.
Hamill's been there. He's
It's
doing his
Luke
it's
had
a clone
rough
of Luke.
time.
he's doing his San Diego Comic-Con run. You know he's going to dress up
Yes.
as Marok, and next year he's going to.
I always try to find him. I never do.
Here's
I mean, go ahead, Johnny.
Here's a question I have, because the voice modulation on things is generally pretty specific. Like stormtroopers sound a certain way. And is it just me, or does Merrick sound almost exactly like the voice distortion on Kylo Ren's helmet?
I was thinking the same thing.
A
Yep.
little.
And the HK droids kind of sounded similar as well. And I don't know that they're not using that effect, reusing that effect or a very similar effect without purpose, because they know that people are like us are going to go, what does this mean?
Yeah. We're especially like, me and Ralph love Lost. And JJ, did Star Wars. And so everyone's like, this must mean something. And like, you also bring that to the Star Wars fandom that already picks apart everything. It's just like takes it to a whole other level of, like, not everything has to mean something. Like, it can just be there. It can just exist.
I think it would be neat if it was Barriss Offrey, but that feels like that makes it a small galaxy, and I don't like when we small galaxy Star Wars.
Who knows? Anything else about season 2, episode 2 that we want to talk about? I really liked in that duel scene when he like boomerangs essentially the saber, and when it comes back, Ahsoka just like moves out of the way very subtly because
Casually
she knew it was
sidesteps.
coming. Like casually sidesteps. I'm like, ooh, that smoothness. Just love that. Love those little details.
You know what? One thing I will say, since we've reached episode 2 anyway, something must have happened to Ahsoka, which turned her from this rather uplifting kind of person to somebody who's just like very stoic. Like if you actually watch her in Rebels, if you watch her in let's start. If you watch her in Clone Wars, she's really optimistic, and of course her fall from the Jedi Order, it detracted her a little bit, and you could see that she was getting a little bit more.
You can see it in Rebels, yeah.
You can start to see more maturity there. By the time she ends Rebels, she's lost friends. Spoiler alert! Anybody? Jeez, I'm really bad at this. I really am.
This is supposed to be spoilers. Stop apologizing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
This is
like,
spoilerific.
that's right. We're gonna have to, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk, I think. And
Yes,
you know,
just talk.
it's just that, but even in Rebels, she still had this levity, and she still had this kind of upbeat attitude. Something
Yeah.
must have happened between then, because again, Ralph was like, I want to find out what happens is in episodes 6 and 7,
I'm
whatever,
sure
right?
a lot of it had to do with Sabine, for sure.
Maybe because it seems like they were master and apprentice for a while, and then all of a sudden, I left Sabine, just like I left Anakin.
Yeah.
Just like almost like she's saying, she's admitting to the fact that she runs away from everybody. Right? It's crazy.
So
yeah, and I think we did want to talk about that. There's been a lot of criticism with her being stoic, and I saw it before I watched the episodes, and I thought, well, it's the typical woman criticism of like, oh, she has too many emotions. Fucked if she has too many emotions, fucked if she has no emotions. But I think that's just her what's the right word? I think it's like almost like a professional demeanor that she has. It's sure you can call it stoic, but it's just she's been through shit and she's matured. And yeah, it's been 10 years. We don't know what's happened in those 10 years. And I think it honestly kind of adds some swagger to her. And she just has this like elegance with her movements too, even moving out of the way of the lightsaber coming back. People that are saying that's a bad thing, I don't agree with that. I think as we go on, we'll learn more about what's happened in the last 10 years and what's happened with her and Sabine. So hopefully that'll make more sense. But also, as we get older, we do get, more serious and less immature and, less positive,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I just
So I
miss
think
that.
it's part of it. Yeah, I mean, sure, I miss that too. But for the people that are saying that, that's like not her or like, just framing it in a negative way, I think they can go poop in a
Oh no,
barrel.
I wasn't looking at it negative.
No,
I was like, what
I
happened?
didn't think you were. I'm just
Yeah.
no. I just wanted to expand on that since I've seen a
Um,
lot of stuff
But
online.
just to answer Dexter Eason's, she really wasn't. She was not betrayed by Anakin. Anakin actually was the only one who believed her when she was first excommunicated by the Jedi Order.
Mhm.
Right? He's the only one who came to her defense. And for the longest time, she didn't even know that Vader was Anakin.
Johnny has not seen
Right?
Rebels.
So yeah, okay, spoiler again.
I
So,
finished it. Kevin. Don't worry.
so to say that she was betrayed by her master, I don't think so. I think she felt just so shocked when she found out
Mhm.
that Vader was Anakin, and she literally said that I'm not leaving, I won't leave you again, and unfortunately, it ended the way it ended. So,
Brick, do you just want to come on?
You
You say things in such a way that I would like to say them. Kills me every time. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
It's okay. In Mando season 2, when we're introduced to her in an episode directed by Dave Filoni, she is a little bit more open when she disarms when dealing with Mando. So we know there's levity. I think what we're seeing is specifically a reflection of her relationship right now with Sabine and with Hera, and maybe this quest she has, this promise she made to Ezra.
Right, I was gonna say, this takes place after what we've seen of her in Mandalorian, right?
I just realized you changed your name.
I totally did. What we saw of Ahsoka in Mandalorian happens before what's happening in this series, correct? Do we know 100% for sure? Okay,
I believe so.
Here's the thing. From what I understand, she hasn't seen these people in like how long? Years?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like she's seen Hera
interacted, but not like on a regular hanging out. I don't know if she hangs out with these people. You know what I mean?
Not hanging out.
People have different demeanors, like to use a good word that Kayla said, when they're by themselves and when they're around old friends who they haven't seen in a while. That might take them a little time to like open back up and get more comfortable with them. And I think we saw a little bit of that when she was outside of the ship on the wing and she's floating in space above and she's like, "Did you fix the ship yet?" Like she's slowly getting back into being comfortable being around these people again. Like that's my take on it. As
Well,
someone who hasn't
and talking
watched
about that, in which is
Rebels.
episode 3 coming next, and not Rebels. You know, at the beginning of that episode, she's very stoic watching Sabine train. And after fighting on the wing and getting back in, she's all smiles.
Mhm.
Like her and Sabine are smiling at each other. They just got through
Yeah.
something. They're having a good time. So you already see that kind of change in demeanor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
slowly breaking through that like awkwardness, because I've had that with friends where, you know, I haven't seen them in a long time and we reconnect and hang out. It's always kind of weird at first, especially if, you know, shit has gone down between us. But after some time you slowly start to relax and get back into the rhythm of things. And I think that's what we were, you know, getting at the end of the 3rd episode.
I struggled with it first.
I think maybe we should just move on to the third
Yes.
episode. I mean,
Yeah.
Yes, which was also directed by Steph Green. Start off with that, and it is titled "Time to Fly," which I think it is very much referencing Sabine's time to fly. Just saying. I didn't write down very much for this episode because I was just fully in it the whole time.
This episode, like I felt like I was watching like deleted scenes or sequences from like prequel movies. It gave me a huge like episode 1, 2, 3 vibe of the way that things were done.
It's supposed to be a Clone Wars vibe. Like,
You know what I loved though was the design specifically like of the fighters in this, and so many things they feel lived in a way that some of the things of the prequels didn't. You know, those World War II era fighters look riveted together and just rough, and it's beautiful.
well, I mean, there's a lot of callbacks to World War II, because even the turbo lasers, the way they actually explode on impact, because they were hitting the ship and just taking down the deflector shields.
Yeah, that
and
was
every single time they
interesting.
exploded, you're like, okay, this is a World War II, a reenactment. It's actually kind of crazy watching a destroyer, right? A destroyer actually trying to hit an incoming enemy vessel, right? It was really interesting seeing how all those parallels came together.
Have we seen the lasers do that before where they have like a burst at the end, or because they typically just keep going into space until eventually they hit something.
Ralph,
and
have
fuck up
we,
somebody's day somewhere.
is there
Yep,
canon for that,
Allison,
Ralph? Because
yep.
I don't remember it
There's
myself.
the cannons on the Death Star are referred to as turbo lasers. We don't see those explosions, and I can't think of anything else. There may be something in episode 3 during the opening battle of Coruscant, but I mean, there's so much going on in that battle. Who knows? But yeah, this is the first time I've seen anything like that.
I think to
in
be
my
fair,
lifetime.
though, the Death Star is mostly shooting at fighters, which have no shields really at all.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
a good shot, and you're gone.
Yeah,
Right.
this could be the way they react to hitting shields.
Mhm.
Or it's just that's what they do, and they haven't showed us before.
Exactly.
that
I think
what
that's.
they do.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's been stupid enough to let to fly right directly in the path of oncoming
Into-
fire, except when a droid is like, oh, can you get a little bit closer, right, just so that we can get a scan.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, let's
You don't
just keep
argue with a droid when he's Scottish.
Dude, yeah, David Tennant. Love that he's Huyang.
beautiful
And Johnny's gone.
driest humor
Good day.
ever. Speaking,
Yeah.
and he's got a great image on the screen.
Mhm.
Felt very much like a moment with Obi-Wan and Luke during that training sequence with Ahsoka and Sabine, where she had to put
Mhm.
down the training mask, trying to reconnect with the Force, if that's something that they can do, right? And it still hasn't been confirmed if she's Force sensitive or not. At this point, Huang is basically saying, "Yeah, you have absolutely no talent whatsoever as a Jedi." Padawan. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so
And can Hu Yang even like determine force abilities?
I don't think
I
so.
mean, he's
I
got
think
like
he's
what
just I think
2,500
he's just
years
saying
of
in terms of
experience.
herself and nothing to do with her connecting to the
Right.
force or not. I think it's just based on the rest of her
yeah, I
being.
mean, I agree because we see him training with her and the movements and the
Mhm.
the type of forms that she needs to actually study, and Huang's just using his overall experience of 2,500 years, saying, out of all of the
Only 2,500
yeah,
years.
exactly, out of all the Padwans I've ever seen, you were by far the worst, right? You know what I mean, and he's not shy about that. When
Mm-mm.
Ahsoka and him are in the same room, he's like she would have been accepted as a Jedi learner, right? The order is very strict on this. Again,
Yeah.
I have to follow my protocols. My protocols come first. So
Yeah,
Well,
which then when she's sparring with Ahsoka and she's blind, she actually does sense that she's behind her at one point. So that was cool. So we'll see. I think she's going to be a good underdog story, and we'll learn more about force sensitivities through her as we
Well,
go.
to me, this is the ultimate, like, sticking it to the midichlorians, kind of maybe
Yeah.
restoring some mysticism to the idea of, theoretically, with enough training and thought and dedication, anybody could be a Jedi. Just maybe some people are a little bit more gifted off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't judge a book by its cover.
I think most Padawans or younglings, when they're selected, are at least showing one natural force talent.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really seen that from Sabine.
Nope.
Yeah, I guess not. Oh, Hanny's back. Yeah, I don't think he has a midichlorian scanner. I think we're trying to get back to a deeper level than just something physical.
somebody remind me: was Chirrut Imwe actually force sensitive, or was he just an acolyte? Was he just somebody who believed in the tenets of the Force?
Is that the guy in Rogue One?
Yeah,
I mean, he sensed the
yeah.
kyber crystal.
There's been a lot of comparisons between him and Sabine.
I
think they're along the same lines.
I think there was a bit of conversation where they talked about that while imprisoned, that he probably had some sensitivity, but it wasn't to the level of which to be in the order.
But following that same line, I'm wondering if that's exactly where we're heading with that. That a person like Chirrut Imwe was able to, even though he was, I mean, he literally is the embodiment of what she's training. He was completely blind, right? And he was still able to defend himself, right? And that's something that Sabine has to rise to that level, right? So it's something which is I think it's a plot device as well. That this is the ascension into a Jedi, and maybe
Totally.
a Jedi that actually does not use the Force. Who's to say that all Jedi are Force users? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
And just as Baylan and Shin aren't Sith, that's not to say that what Ahsoka is building is Jedi. It's a chance to maybe see something new, a new order, because we see these different versions of dark side users, like the Night Sisters, or the Inquisitors, who aren't Sith, but they are definitely dark side users. This could be a chance to build something new on the light side of the Force.
Yeah. I think we're definitely blurring a lot of boundaries and black and white and getting into more of the gray, both with the Jedi and with the Sith, especially with Baylan and Shin, and not really sure what they are either. And I like that. I like that we're exploring that in between, because life isn't black and white, y'all.
It's time to get more towards the Bendu.
Ooh, Bendu, yeah.
Okay.
Ralph doesn't like it.
Opinion.
He was annoying.
Well, opinion time. Is Bendu gone, or has he ascended into the Force? He's
probably ascended into the Force.
He's probably ascended.
No, I think he can take many forms, and just kind of exists.
Ooh.
He's
Well, I mean,
Merrick.
he became that cloud,
see
right,
that.
for a while,
Right.
So,
So I have a question about the Force and power creep, because we see Ahsoka using like sensing Force echoes, like Cal Kestis does in Fallen Order. Have we seen Force echo stuff in live action before or in animation? I don't recall.
I think this was the first time.
So do we think that is it something that every Jedi should be able to do, or like only certain ones?
No. I think even in traditional Star Wars media, we had Jedi who were skilled in some things and not others. You know, there's room for specialization.
Okay.
I mean, just like Obi-Wan Kenobi, he struggled for years trying to contact the afterlife of the Force, right?
Right.
Like, and he never really got that until he reached a certain point of enlightenment where he was calm, he'd accepted things about himself and the mistakes that he made and the mission that he was on. And then finally, after all that was done, he basically wandered out into the desert, and guess who's waiting for him right there? It's Qui-Gon Jinn. So I think that there's a certain level of training, a certain level of enlightenment, that you have to ascend to before anything else can come to you, right? So and some people are just naturally gifted. I mean, the chosen one was the chosen one, right? I mean, that's everyone talks about that. Even the three, even the Trinity, right? They were waiting for the chosen one, right? It's just there's so many different things that are happening in Jedi lore.
Very true.
Okay. Cool.
More about episode 3. I felt like when Ahsoka and Sabine were in the cockpit for that one scene or a couple scenes together, it just reminded me so much of the original trilogy, and there's a lot more of those little cockpit scenes in there, so I really enjoyed those little moments.
Everybody
Thinking
loves
back
being in the
to
cockpit.
OG.
The cockpit is where everything happens. Everything
Yes.
happens in the cockpit.
Yep.
And
It's another word for penis.
It's called cockpit. I mean, how much more
The
in your
pit of the
face
cock.
can you? How much more in your face can you get? It's the
Oh,
cockpit.
We
Come on.
are demonetized.
We're
We're not
not
even
monetized anyway,
monetized
so
yet.
it's
We
fine.
can't be.
And banter between the two of them starting to become more natural and less
Yeah.
adversarial almost.
Yeah,
because
their
Hu Yang
defenses,
was
their
And
defenses are coming
Ahsoka
down.
trusting
right?
her
yeah.
and being like, okay, what do you want me to do? And like asking her that. It was great.
Hu Yang was kind of alluding to that, where he said something to the effect of, "We're not going to make it if the way the two of you are acting."
Yeah, it was actually, that whole sequence of events was actually quite telling. The fact that they started trusting one each other. I mean, Kayla, you mentioned in the beginning, her presets were, erased, right? Which is kind of annoyed her, right? She was like, I see you erased them. I never needed them before. So, almost like they were taking little jabs at each other. But then when they finally started working together, right, saying, okay, what do you need me to do? Dive, right? And then then do a barrel roll. You know what I mean? Like, Star a la Star Fox. I mean,
Path to Frenium. There you go. You're welcome. Welcome.
All right.
Anyways.
Ralph, you have any other thoughts about this particular episode, the 3?
This episode, here's the thing. I felt like the first episode went on a little too long because I was like, I just finished rewatching Rebels. I don't know if that's a show you've heard about, Johnny, but
I've never heard. No one's ever mentioned it before. Tell me about it?
The shade.
Like there's a fine line where it's like you can't please every Star Wars fan, because I'm like, oh man, this one was too short. Like it's like the Goldilocks thing. Like I can't get the right Star Wars. But this episode was the third one was only like 31 minutes long, and after doing the rewatch of Rebels, this one actually had the pacing and felt more like a Rebels episode than any of the other two, and so I really appreciated it. And I was like, oh man, I gotta wait a week. I forgot what it was like waiting for a Rebels to come every week, especially with like the 2-parters and stuff. But with this, it was like the stuff with Ahsoka floating out in space Like that's stuff you would see in the animated series all the time, and you
Oh,
never see it
yeah.
in live action. Most likely
People are
because
complaining about
people
her
thought it would be.
spacesuit.
Oh, it's my
I'm
favorite
like,
look. Like if I
what?
were to get an Ahsoka Black
Doesn't-
series,
Yeah.
which I don't own a single Black series because I don't want to start owning Black series stuff.
I have Bix
Um,
because she's my girlfriend. That's it.
oh my gosh.
Well, now
Oh
I've
my gosh,
ordered
she's-
fucking Chopper, so
Yeah.
I'll have Chopper too.
See, there you go.
Bix is
And then you're
awesome.
gonna want to get Jackson and then
It's a
Jar Jar
rabbit
because
hole.
those are the ones I want. I want a Bosk. So if I don't get
Escalates.
any, it won't escalate. But the thing is, it's like I could see someone like Favreau saying that's too silly. I want to make Star Wars cool. And Filoni's like, well, we've been doing this in animation for the last 10 plus years or whatever, however long they've been doing like the animated series. And the fact that they put one in a live action series is just like, okay, we're gonna make this feel like the animated series. It's the same thing with that road
Mhm.
that leads to nowhere in Lothal. Like that was such a main part of like the first season of Rebels. They had countless chases there. Ezra with a bubble helmet on the wing of a starship happened a lot. And
Mhm.
so for them to do it,
Ahsoka had her other spacesuit too.
yeah. And this was
I think
like
that was in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
this episode felt like an episode of Rebels. It had that formula where it's like, okay, it's going to be one large sort of action set piece that this episode's going to be centered around, and we'll get the character stuff during the set piece. And that's kind of what we saw happen. And we saw the how Ahsoka and Sabine are separated in the ship. They're at the far ends of the ship from each other, and
Mhm.
they mess with the presets. But then by the time they start clicking, it feels like they're like right next to each other, and they're working as one, and they're working as this great team. Completely feels like an episode of Rebels, especially the early episodes where it's like Ezra and Zeb not getting along, they never get along, or Sabine and Ezra not getting along, and then by the end of the episode they kind of come together and figure stuff out. Because again, with Rebels, the reason why it works is because they're a family, and
Yeah.
we've lost the last 10 years with these characters, so we don't know what the strain was, but it's nice in this episode following that Rebels formula where at the end they seem to click a lot more. And
Mhm.
with them sitting in front of that hyperspace ring or the map, and they're like, okay, we know where we're going. And
Mhm.
it's like, this is the adventure. We're starting this adventure. We're all caught up. Everybody who's seen Rebels now knows where the Rebels characters are. People who haven't seen Rebels, it's been explained to them who these characters are. Now, after episode 3, it's time
True.
to like propel into
Yeah.
the unknown regions, into this other galaxy, which is
Use
pretty
the
exciting.
ring.
Yeah.
And I think someone was
Good
pointing
advice.
out, like, we've seen most of what's been in the trailers at this point, right? There's only a couple
Yeah,
scenes that
there's
were in
only
the
a
trailers that
couple
haven't been in an
scenes.
episode yet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know what? I really did appreciate when we saw Kanan and Hera's son. I thought that was a really cool moment. Yeah,
Jason.
Jason was really cool, and
Is he cursed though by being named Jason?
but he talks about how he wants to become a Jedi too, right?
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
We'll
A very
see.
very cool moment, and yeah, it was actually exactly what Ralph said. It was too short. Once you saw like, oh, go get the Jedi, I was like, okay, they're cutting it here, damn, right? And you're like, another week.
But
This
what's
sucks.
great is I'm so glad they're showing up on Tuesday nights.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do my show at 7:30 in the morning. It's based on time zones. My co-host James is in the UK, and so like I used to be, I get up at 5:30 in the morning, wake up my wife, watch Star Wars groggy, and then do the episode. So now it's nice to be able to like have dinner the night before, and then after dinner the dishes are put away, and then we're watching Star Wars. So the Tuesday nights have been working out great over here on the West Coast. Yeah.
Indeed. I don't think anyone's complaining about that. Although I'm curious why they didn't announce that sooner. Like they just
I don't
it was
know.
like within a week they're like, "Oh, it's actually going to be Tuesday night."
It was probably a last minute decision for who
Must
knows
have been.
how and why. They just were like, hey, why don't we do it this way?
Should have been their original decision, but you know,
Yeah, but
whatever.
it-
Not
it-
But I
complaining
hope
about
it's
it
the
now.
same moving forward. I hope it's the same for every
Yeah.
series coming up, because it's only been 2 weeks, and it's a luxury that I've been very much enjoying.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Now, in
Um,
Jason's
go ahead.
defense, Kayla, I gotta say they did spell it the Star Wars way. There's a C and a E. It doesn't make
Yes.
sense.
Yes, they did. We'll still see. Okay. Anything else about episode 3 before we kind of give our overall thoughts on things so far?
I don't have anything specific.
I don't think I do.
One thing I did want to mention just really quickly is
Mhm.
I think the makeup director needs to start like really locking it down, because like some of these still shots that I see of Hera, her eyes are shifting. I don't know if you ever seen it, but her eyes are starting to
Oh.
shift around. Like they're not exactly centered. And there are a lot of people wearing contacts in this show, so it's kind of like they gotta-
Oh,
they
like
gotta
the
start-
contacts
Yeah,
themselves?
the contacts are moving around. Like
That you
look
can't
at
really
some
do
of the-
anything about.
I
I'm just saying.
noticed.
They're just contacts. They're gonna move.
I noticed
The makeup, on the other hand, is
contacts-
different.
Yeah,
The
makeup is
contacts
actually pretty
in
good.
the first 2 episodes for Hera were like ridiculously blue. In the 3rd episode, I don't know
This
if they
is what I'm
switched
talking about,
or
that
whatnot.
Okay.
They seem to have toned down the color a bit, because they were not as like blindingly blue as they were. It was very much gave like an Uncanny Valley vibe in the first 2 episodes, even though it's not a CG character. I'm like, those eyes are contacts. Like, it was 100% noticeable.
Yeah, that's what
And then
I
3rd
think maybe
episode
that's
was a
what it
little
is.
better.
Like Legolas in The Hobbit.
Yeah, what was with that? He looks so.
That was so bad. I just saw a meme about that the other day. Tangent time. And
need
it's
a
like Legolas in Lord of the
tangent
Rings,
time
and he's like
graphic.
happy and running around, and then him in The Hobbit, and he's just like hard to stare, which I think they did CGI on top of it to de-age him a little bit. So it just made him look extra weird. Anyways, I did notice, speaking of makeup though, since I noticed these things with Sabine's makeup, they are not very consistent with her. And I mean, obviously it's going to change scene by scene, but in terms of just one eye looking like the other, which, you know, we're asymmetrical, but there's still some things where I'm just like, just fix that little bit, fix that wing, fix that smudge. It's throwing me off. But also it could just be on purpose to show her like scrappiness a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, her
Anyways.
overall skin tone is actually also quite like it varies between episode 2, because like she was really pale
Yeah.
in the first 2 episodes, and all of a sudden she started getting. It's kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe it's a subconscious thing they want to throw our way. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall though, I am super enjoying this season. It's giving me kind of like Andor and Mando vibes, but also combined with something else that I can't quite put my finger on yet, something that's not Star Wars. I really love the music. I was worried about some of these settings and them looking a little too CGI instead of doing more like practical actual settings like they did in Andor, but I think they did a pretty good job with them in terms of not looking so CGI.
Yeah, I think the forest in this episode in particular looked really cool. All the red leaves.
Yeah, it did look really cool. But yeah, the acting's great. I don't have a problem with Ahsoka being stoic. You know, I think she's just more serious now. Yeah, I'm very curious to see where they go, hoping to get more backstory with Ahsoka and Sabine, and then also want to know everything about Shin and Balin. Yeah, I don't really care too much about Merrick. It'd be cool if he's someone, but if he's not, that's fine. Anyone else? Overall thoughts so far?
I love it. You know, it's 3/8, so we've just gotten our first like taste of the series, really.
Just a tip.
Yeah, just barely giving a tease.
A little bit more than the tip.
But in a lot of ways, I kind of really love kind of the like the red leaves on the trees, I feel like kind of harken to like, cherry blossom trees and kind of the Japanese roots and inspirations of Star Wars. And we're seeing that in the costuming, and even Zatoichi from episode 2 being referenced as a training, which was the blind swordsman, if I'm correct. Anybody?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's very cool. I like to see that built upon and really fleshed out. Words are hard.
Same.
They sure are. Watch Trek Retrek.
Yeah. Oh, we struggle with words so much. So much struggling with words. What about you, Ralph?
I've really been enjoying it. As a fan of Rebels, it's nice to see the characters in live action. It's taken a little getting used to getting into that mode where it's like a completely different,
Just got to
cast.
separate them.
Yeah, and so far, I think with this last episode, it really helped a lot. I felt like Mary Elizabeth Winstead really got into Hera. It really kind of felt more right than the previous 2 episodes. I think Sabine's been great since. I think Sabine's been great since the jump, and then Rosario's great. I like Rosario Dawson, and we kind of had a couple of episodes with her already in Mando and Book of Boba Fett. So that worked out. I think she's in Book of Boba Fett, right? That was that one episode.
Yeah, she was in it.
Yeah, so it's been nice.
It was like, you shall not pass to Mando.
I mean, I don't know if there's a bunch of assholes out there talking about this. This is just how things worked out. But you have a show with 5 main female leads.
Mm-hmm.
You have like Shin, Morgan, Ahsoka, Sabine, Mon Mothma's around. Like it's really it's
great.
I mean, it's great.
We'd love to see it.
And it doesn't feel like they would say, Disney's being woke, but it's not like it felt forced. These are all characters that are coming from other places, and it feels natural. It feels great, and I like it. I grew up in the dark times when there's 3 Star Wars women.
Mm-hmm.
There was Mon Mothma, barely, Princess Leia, and Ambrue. There wasn't much. There was Torrin Farr, who had one line in Empire Strikes Back, but it's one of those things where it's like, and then there's an A-wing pilot in the Return of the Jedi who was played by a woman. The dub was by a man. It's like, come on. Did a little bit better in the prequels, but it is nice to just see like I haven't seen a lot of it. I haven't been on Twitter, so follow me.
Best not to.
It's probably a good choice.
I've seen a bit, and I'm like, I'm not going to go any further.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like people are whining, "Oh, Andor's too political," and I'm like, Star Wars has always been political.
Yes.
So it feels like
you haven't
this is
been
sort
paying
of
attention if you don't think it's political.
Yeah. So it feels like low hanging fruit for those kind of people, but it just works, and I think it's really well done, and I'm glad it is. It's great. I'm enjoying the show. And there's Ula. I forgot about Ula. Sorry.
How dare.
He's like naming like people in the background of Jedi's palace or Jabba's palace.
Typical brick. All right.
Yeah, I mentioned Torrin Farr.
Yeah. No, I think people like the world is just like, there's just so many problems, and we need to remember that this is an escape. This is an escape. It's exactly. See, Kayla literally took the word right out of my mouth. Right. This is supposed to be an escape. This is supposed to be relaxation. You're supposed to have fun with these characters. Why? Exactly. We're right there.
Yes.
Why read into it when there's nothing to read into? Who the fuck cares? These are characters, strong people.
With not very fragile egos that are this big. Teeny.
Enjoy it.
Micropenis.
Enjoy it. It's a fucking sci-fi show.
Yeah.
Right? It's a freaking show which is supposed to be for kids. It's supposed to be for adults. It's supposed to be for anybody who just wants to freaking watch a show, have fun. if you want to say it, leave your brain at the door if you don't want to think too much about it, because that, the politics are there if you want to see the politics. The political intrigue is there if you want to see that. But if you don't, it's a bunch of people waving around laser swords. Where are we? We're living in a wonderful little dream world. And you know what? Fuck everybody else who's making this political, because this is a
Thank
great
you.
series. And you know what? Let's just
Thank
sit
you.
down and enjoy it. That's all that really matters. That's all I got to say about that.
We need an applause thing. Yeah, and the crowd goes wild.
Oh God! Now we're
Micro,
flashing
what
our.
now? Everyone, flash your sabers.
I gotta go all the
I'll
way over
flash-
there. And
That literally looks like an anus,
rooms.
Ralph.
That's Ray's
Well, my
saber.
fault.
So
That's Ray's.
unfortunate.
Actually, I love the way that saber pops out when you put around the blade. It's very cool.
Turkey butt.
I made mine out of plumbing
That's all I
parts. I have two
That's
actually.
Well, aren't you cool?
You laid some pipe.
Sure did.
These aren't phallic at all. Like
No.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Mine doesn't do anything.
Yep.
It's you can see through it.
Oh shit. You should make it into like a kaleidoscope.
I can add electronics in the future.
Oh, Chris is
But I have
getting the
not
naughty
done so
stuff
yet.
out. Turned off his camera.
I have a Sith one.
All
that I
right,
made, too.
Ralph. How many you got there?
Oh gosh.
I
All your
can't grab the Ray
babies.
one. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5, and then Stevie has another one. Stevie has the Princess Leia one,
Nice.
and then
As
she has
should.
one that she built.
Love.
That's what
One day.
prompted me to do this was I went to visit my sister. She lives in Orlando, and we went to Galaxy's Edge, but they didn't have any appointments for
Plus
the
it's
workshop.
$300.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what? A Jedi makes their own lightsaber anyway. I'm gonna do that from scratch. So I looked up a bunch of different ways to do it
Oh
and
shit.
made my
Like
own.
a mega saber. Oh my lantern. Oh no, he's just getting them all out. I see. Okay.
Somebody's
They're
just
double-sided.
Wow.
flexing right now. Somebody's just flexing.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Flex
Chris.
on them haters.
Flex. Just flex.
There's 3 more in the other room. I'm not gonna go get them.
Love.
I had a problem for a while.
I have the old
at least it's not drugs.
the old Mace Windu and Count Dooku like toy ones from around the time the movies came out in a bin at my parents' house.
In a bean.
That's
the-
the Palps.
Yeah, that's
This
a
is the Mace
Palpatine.
Windu.
Oh, was that Mace Windu? I thought it was
Yeah.
Palpatine.
How-
Mace Windu's.
Oh, okay. It's very
Mace
similar to
Windu?
Palpatine, though. Very interesting.
Palpatine's is one-handed, I believe.
Oh, okay.
That's how you tell how big they're.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
1 or 2 hands.
Well, Balin is one of the few that has a true, like, girthy two-hander. I mean, I know Kayla noticed.
As he should.
Yeah, his
Zaddy
felt
alert.
very broadsword, like
I mean, he was
legit
holding it like Qui-Gon.
medieval knight. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Mhm.
So, did
Memes.
everybody... memes?
Do we have any last thoughts before memes? No. All right.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy this freaking show.
Yes,
That's all.
it's amazing. Are you gonna do the spoilers without context first, or just regular?
I'm going to
Memes.
now that you said something.
Okay, so these first ones I made are spoilers without context. Do you have it in the right order?
Which one should be first?
We'll find out. The first one I put in there.
Okay, it's just doing its thing. So
Okay, we'll
I'm gonna
find out.
I haven't tried to share the screen yet, so hang on.
I'm sure people can figure out which episode it's for, and hopefully I can remember which episode it's for. Is it still? Oh, there we go. Oh, yes. It was for the first episode because, yes, very Indiana Jones-esque with aligning all the lights to unlock the orb. And then I had to do the Iron Man, Tony Stark, anything. I mean, this happens in so many action movies where they just like walk away and there's a big explosion behind them. And that was very much Ahsoka when she's running away from the ruins exploding. And then, of course, Treasure Planet, because it's the same fucking orb that's used. And then, when Sabine gets impaled, I had to put Qui-Gon there because obviously. So that's for the
but
first
speaking
episode.
that was a hell of a self-destruct mechanism on those droids. Or did their explosion set off a reaction on the
There's
Yeah.
if you look at the ground, there's a lot of what looks like gunpowder type of sand, and I think it's
It
sort
wasn't
of a
just them
fail-safe.
exploding. There was stuff in there. Yeah.
And we actually we've very rarely seen thermal detonators that are that big. I mean, those like a thermal detonator is supposed to be like this big. These were like canisters, and there were 3 of them at the same time. So it was a huge explosion. It was actually very crazy.
Yep. On to the next one. Yes, episode 2, Stonehenge. Obviously, I have Scion, I have Sauron. And then when the guy from House was like, "This is classified," and she's like, "I'm a fucking general, you douche." And then when Sabine cuts off her hair, it was very Mulan-esque how she did it, because it was just like one chop. I'm like, that's not how hair is cut, but okay.
Yeah. I thought about that. I'm like, you're gonna have to use that knife more than once.
Yeah. I'm sure they, just cut out all of that. And
I know they had to do it because that's how they showed that scene from Rebels where her hair is that short. But I kind of wanted to see like the purple to orange ombre just hanging out the back of her Mandalorian helmet. I thought that would have been fun.
Yeah.
And it's an ode to Kanan on Rebels. Have you heard of it? Rebels.
No, I've not heard of this show. I'll have to look at it.
Space hair is different than Earth hair. Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Science.
Exactly. So that's it for the spoilers without context. There was
there's
just
a
those
third.
two.
No,
there's only
I
2
told
in the
you.
folder that I downloaded.
Did you not get the third one?
I did not. Send it to me on Discord.
Oh, it's there. Yeah, I'll send it on Discord. Yeah, we can do the rest, and we can do
Okay.
the third one after. Are you going to show the rest of them?
I'm working on it.
Oh. I'm just checking. Technology, man.
Yeah.
All right. Just sent it.
She's got a hickey.
Yeah, that's or a giant cigarette burn.
Yeah. No biggie. Meanwhile, Qui-Gon, what the fuck? I died for y'all.
If he would have lived just like 12 minutes later, they invented Bacta and he would have been fine.
Yep.
Next.
Yeah, there's a lot of Qui-Gon.
Where's the
ones in
stint?
here.
Where's a stint when you need one? Like seriously.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, this isn't written by Dave Filoni. And then Billy Elliot, yes, giving himself the medal.
It was
So good.
I was like, when it happened, I was shocked. I'm like, oh shit, are they gonna like what's happening? And then it's like, okay, well, the next episode is right there, so just watch it and see what happens.
Yeah.
But also, like, I saw the trailers and there was more stuff.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Yeah, exactly. She's got that plot armor in the trailers, at least.
I'm still gonna say Darth Maul. I'm again.
Yeah.
Hamburger survive. Hamburger survive. Sausage.
Especially since now we're getting into more witchy stuff, and that's how he was brought back. So anything is possible now, y'all.
No, that's just how he got his more human-esque legs, not spider body.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're married.
Yes.
They're married, right? Is it?
Yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
He chose wisely.
She is a. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. Somebody forgot to look at the character designs because like Hera is not that tall. Like she's she towers over everybody. Like
it's fine.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Relax.
But will she slide into that French accent? Is all I want to know.
That would be really cool because like it was so weird watching her just like speak the way she does, and then all of a sudden she meets her father, and zoom, she's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna switch on my accent and see what happens. That was just like, wow, what the hell happened there?
Also, Ahsoka tries to use the Force. Yeah, which also that cup scene, everyone's like, "Oh, that's me. I'm gonna try to move cups with the Force." I'm like, I've definitely done that.
I don't care how old you are. You have waved your hand at an automatic door.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
I do it. I do it right
Yes.
now. I do that every time I go to the
Yeah.
grocery store. What are you talking about? I'm like,
Exactly.
I was
I
waiting
got the
for there to be like
power.
they focused on the cup after she left the table. I was waiting for there to be like a
For it to
delayed
move.
effect where it just like just a fraction of an inch, but it did
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
And then you realize that the ship just pitched a bit. And you're
Yes, we were all like, "Wow." Yeah.
Which
Cup
what
talk.
is
We always talk about the cups.
yes, Cup Watch
Cup Watch
2023.
2023.
What is up with this astromech droid? It's weird looking.
actually he's an homage to the original
Yes.
droid. I believe is the original version of R2D2 from the Kenner line.
Yep.
That's
Interesting.
actually R2D2.
Yep.
If I could reach
You
mine
got
out
a
and
great
get it,
view.
but you'd see my butt crack.
Let's
We want to see
not-
butt crack. Come on, turn around. Go.
You know, we
Go.
didn't talk enough
No.
about Two Girls,
We
One
already
Cup.
talked about this. You can go to the next one.
Wait, can I do this? Does this work? Oh, it does work.
There you go. You said skip this one, Kayla, because we already talked
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it
go
basically.
to yeah. It was just to remind. Yes, once again, this is Treasure Planet. As we can see, it is the same thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, but his is gold and this
can.
one's more gunmetal. Completely different.
Darth Banks.
Totally. Also, yes, I can fix her. Just like when girls are like, I can fix him. That's how I feel about her. I can fix you. Please and thank you. Yes. The people that have been stabbed.
I realize I don't have R2,
No.
but I have the insert.
Oh no.
Oh, he's way in the
Ken's been
corner.
day drinking. Oh boy.
There he
How
is.
the turntables have
There he is. I see
turned.
him. I see him.
Interesting.
Cute.
This is my-
Oh, I'm trying to go forward on the actual screen, on my screen rather than the actual screen.
Oh no. I was like, what's happening? Yeah, this is the very typical walking in on Ahsoka and fans. Yeah, I feel like this is getting a lot more attention than this season of Mando, at least. At least so far. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.
You know it didn't get up.
It feels more focused.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Just
didn't
go
get much
see-
attention at all? Witcher season 3.
No, it did not.
It
They also
took,
didn't
like,
market
no
it
attention.
very well.
Well, I think it was overshadowed by the fact
Did I
that
say Once again,
Cavill left.
Treasure Planet. Same thing. Look at the similarities. The writing is on the wall. Come on. You can keep moving.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah. Yep. Rebels
Accurate.
fans watching. So accurate.
I can attest to the bottom.
Yeah. Is that you? Are you Elmo?
Yeah, I'm just blissfully enjoying all of it with nary a complaint.
That's awesome. I like it.
As you should. Oh yes, me an intellectual. Ahsoka. Yes. Oh, the complaining about female characters. Yes. So many poor Qui-Gon. It's like, what the fuck? Everyone else. This is a classic. From Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Love that show. So good. Disney Plus announces Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 will be released a day early. I think that was all of us.
You also
Went
have
from
the
6 to
Schwartz.
midnight real
Oh,
fast.
that is so great. It's awesome.
Yes. They recreated the meme. They did the thing. They did it.
That's pretty damn close, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was this you, Johnny, too?
No. No, I've heard plenty about Grand Admiral Ron. I know he's a big deal.
Sure, Jan. Oh yes, and then I also kind of thought it looked like a snitch for a little bit. 150 points to Gryffindor. Yes, and I had to do a Star Trek one because obviously.
I don't know what you're going for with this one.
Anakin. I don't. Well, make Anakin in the show.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He'll be there.
It appears the transport was traced to the Denab system. It's a place where no one has gone before. I'm not gonna even try to talk like him. Yeah, they were just matching.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
that's why.
I didn't even notice that. Holy crap!
Yep.
That's great.
He's like, I don't know what to wear without the armor, so I'm just gonna match Hera.
I just gonna assume she raided the closet, not unlike Lando when he gets on the Millennium Falcon.
So I forgot. I guess we forgot to mention that. Yes, she was literally not wearing her armor for the entire 2 episodes. That's like unheard of.
At the end, she does. Yeah.
I know, it's just unheard of because as we know in Rebels, she never takes the freaking armor off. You know, she's always wearing that freaking armor, right? Just like any proud Mandalorian would, right? So,
She has a whole monologue about it in Rebels.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is true. Yep. She's rocking that goggles look, baby. She makes them look good.
I bet she had some goggles in Sky High in that lab. There's probably some older goggle shots.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
first
talked about this.
female. You can move forward. That was some of these were just reminders. Yeah, fucking Chopper, man, he's a killing machine and just literally will fuck up shit left and right and gets away with it.
They used to do an after show on YouTube for Rebels called Rebels Recon, and they had a Chopper that just bothered the crap out of them all the time. So if you need more live action Chopper shenanigans, there's some out there.
So this is a psychopathic droid.
100%.
Oh,
I don't
shoot,
understand
my
this.
chat is not. Her face card is so insane. She's so mommy. I hope she continues to be evil with no redemption arc in the show. She's just fucking badass and hot and shit. What else?
Well, that makes sense.
what
I don't know
don't
what
you
a
get about
face
this?
card is.
I don't know that either.
Yeah,
Well,
what is a
Probably
face card?
something.
I don't know
It's
that
probably
either.
something the youth know that I do not.
Kayla is the youngest one here. We need you to explain.
You're supposed
I'm
to
gonna
be
look it
hip
up
to the
right now.
scene, man.
I'm 30. I'm about
Yeah.
to be 31 in a few months. I'm not hip to the scene.
I'm staring at the
Face
I'm on the short road to
card.
40, and everyone else around here is on their way to 50. We're doomed.
Oh,
You
yes,
can't hurt.
we
You can't
watch-
hurt me,
we
Chris.
watch
You
for the
can't hurt me.
plot.
You're the same age as my wife. No worries.
Oh, a king, a queen, or a jack in deck of cards, but like literally, so that means like you're the face. Like
Oh,
you're
the
king or
face card.
queen.
Okay, now I get it. Yeah. Playing cards. Yeah. Okay.
A person has such a beautiful face that they could get away with whatever they wanted, like a valid credit card. Yeah, she could get away with whatever she wanted with me. Just saying.
People were really pumped that, like, I guess this headset that she's wearing is very similar
Same
to
as
the.
Anakin.
It is.
Anakin's
And it
from-
is
Yes.
Anakin. It is Anakin Skywalker's. Yeah, pretty much. I think it was an Easter egg.
Oh my god, Brick said it. Also, my chat is behind for whatever reason, but Brick said it in the chat. I'm looking at my phone.
Gotcha.
Is it not showing up on yours?
No, it's not
No,
showing up.
it's not showing up on ours
StreamYard
either. Yeah.
Oh, what the hell, StreamYard? Why are you doing this to us? Yes, you did it, you crazy son of a bitch. You did it. Very good. Be good.
That's it.
Is that it? Do you want to show my episode 3 spoilers without context?
Yes, I will. Stand by.
It's not as exciting, but you know, gotta show it now. Yeah, I guess the chat isn't showing up in our chat, but it's showing up on the thing. So yeah, I thought that mask looked very much like a fencing mask, and
Yeah,
then
it did.
their Their stick fighting reminded me of Arya in season 1 of Game of Thrones. I don't know if you've heard of that show, Ralph. And then when Huyang is like, closer, closer, reminded me of the Hannibal Lecter scene. And then, of course, the Purgle whales and Dory speaking whale. That's it.
Okay.
Yay. Woot woot. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us. It's been real. If everyone wants to talk about, what they have coming up, where people can find you, Chris, do you want to go first?
Sure. I am currently doing a weekly series where I talk about Ahsoka. It's nothing like this. It's completely different. But that's happening on Thursdays. I'm trying to do it after you guys on Thursday. We'll see if that works. But
you don't have to. It's fine.
I know, but I don't like to tread on my friends. And that's over at Shiny Plastic People.
And that's how they can find you on all the social medias as well.
Yeah, SPP Toys is pretty much me everywhere.
Should be linked in the everybody's stuff should be in the description of this.
Shawnee's very good about giving all our guests credit, as they should. Ralph, you got some pretty exciting stuff coming up. I don't know if anyone's heard of the show Lost, but someone is doing a documentary about it.
Yeah, I'm producing a documentary about Lost. I've been working on it for just about almost 2 years now. We launched an Indiegogo campaign on the 15th. It's been a couple weeks, and we're doing pretty good. So you can find that at gettinglostdoc.com. And tomorrow is the director's birthday, so donate tomorrow.
It's Taylor's birthday.
Taylor's birthday is tomorrow.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, we're trying to get them to 108 because that is a Lost number. If you know Lost, if you don't know Lost, it's
right now I think we're at 72,000.
Yeah,
which is great for the movie.
Yeah. Their goal was 42,000. So, but it's an open-ended goal, so we're trying to get to.
Yeah, we got to that goal. We're $7
in
away
a day.
73,000. 488 backers. In 30 hours we hit our goal, so we're pretty excited.
Amazing.
And we've already done 29 interviews.
Damn. And then you also talk about live action Star Wars.
Oh yeah, there's that too. I mean, just go to @Casino Skunk anywhere and you can see what I'm up to. How about YouTube? I don't have a lot of followers on YouTube, and it's the hub for all of my stuff. So I'm going to put this in the chat. We'll see if it shows up for us.
Sorry guys, we can't show any of the comments because for some reason it's stalled. But we're seeing your comments. I'm seeing them on my telefono.
It came here, but I don't see it on. There must be a disconnect between StreamYard and YouTube because Ralph, I don't see your comment up on YouTube.
I just saw it.
I'll just do that. There we go.
Oh, weird. Oh, that's so odd. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, Mega J. What about you?
Well, you know what? I'm always doing a bunch of things, but first of all, I just want to thank Geek the F out for inviting all of us. This has been an amazing stream and had so much fun tonight. These Geek the F out does amazing content and deep dives on a whole bunch of Star Wars and not really Star Wars, Star Trek, and so many other wonderful series. You guys should definitely subscribe if you haven't already. I can see that there are already 21 likes in the chat on this episode, and that was so great because there was so many great people here. Thank you guys for showing up tonight. Thank you guys so much for inviting me, and of course everybody here. It was an absolute blast.
Of course,
guys, definitely. If
you're about to jump onto a stream,
absolutely. I'm not worried about that though. I'm streaming all the time. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
Mega J, if you don't know him, he does not ever stop streaming.
Just sleep? What's that? Yeah. What is sleep? I don't know what sleep is.
Y'all go check him out, especially if you love toys, and he's about to do an interview with Jason, right?
Spirit Toys. Spirit Toys is going to be our guest tonight. Same thing with Brick Something, and I believe
Hey, Brick.
come on, I have one more. Highly Articulated might show up. I'm not sure if he is.
I think he's doing
but
a open late unbox right now. I just saw that, but he might be
Okay.
done by then.
You never know. Hopefully,
Adam's
Did you guys-
cheating on
the
us.
invitation's there, so
Cheating
but
boyfriend.
yeah, just really happy to be invited to this stream. I really appreciate it. And guys, definitely check out Geek DF out. And if you want, you can check out my channel. It's Mega J Richard on YouTube. So.
Go check out Mega J.
Check out
He
Brick.
has
Brick.
great.
Brick grew
great
up
stuff.
blocks away from me, and we went to the
Really?
same. He went to the same 12 years of Catholic school that I did. He was a year ahead of me
Oh wow.
in
Small world.
both grade school and high school. And yeah, it's weird. Small world.
Yeah.
Small
But
world.
I just want to
Very,
say
very small world.
also what's great about Geek the F Out is their logo. If you like Geek the F
Every
Out's logo,
damn time, Ralph.
if you like it,
Ralph made our logo. Can't you tell?
I made it.
It's amazing.
I like it. I think honestly it's
Did
it's
an
probably
amazing job.
the favorite one I've done, and I've done a few.
I'm glad. I'm
Thanks,
glad
Ralph.
that
We appreciate it.
No,
That
it's
art
awesome.
everything
I
you
love
do.
it.
It's
the
I love
best.
it.
Big fan. All right. Well, thanks everyone for our stuff. You can follow us at GTFO channel. If you haven't smacked that like yet, what are you doing? Go smack that like, smack that subscribe, smack that bell icon. If you want to email us, you can email us at channelgtfo@gmail.com. It's the reverse of our socials. And yeah, next thing we have coming up is Thursday TOS. I think that's the next thing, right?
Yeah, Trek Retrek on
Yeah.
Thursday. Episode
Trek Retrek
18,
Thursday.
Arena.
It's gonna get gorny again. Get gorny up in here. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks to all of our amazing guests.
Thank you everybody
and
for joining. Yes.
Yeah.
What she
Have
just
a
said.
great-
I'm not gonna say it
have
again.
a great weekend. Yeah, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Have a great holiday weekend for all those who have it off. Bye.
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 What a
Peace out,
logo.
Cub Scouts.